I still remember the great Thanksgiving smokeout of 2023. Searing steaks on my new kitchen island. I choked as thick smoke bypassed my cheap range hood, setting off every alarm. Choosing an island range hood is a nightmare of confusing CFM ratings, shaky installations, and deafening fans. You don't want a ceiling decoration, you need a powerhouse. Today, I'm ranking the top 7 island range hoods on the market from worst to best, so you avoid my Smoky disaster. Stick around, because our number 1 pick completely changed how I cook in an open kitchen. AKDY. When I first unboxed this unit, I was drawn to the sleek stainless steel aesthetic and the curved tempered glass canopy. It looks fantastic suspended over a modern kitchen island, catching the light and giving that premium European kitchen vibe without the premium price tag. The touch controls are seamlessly integrated into the front panel, and the LED lights provide decent illumination for standard evening cooking tasks, casting a nice warm glow over the stovetop. However, getting this beautiful piece of metal and glass onto the ceiling was where my frustrations began. The mounting bracket felt slightly flimsy during installation, requiring me to reinforce the ceiling joists more than I typically would for a hood of this size. Once mounted, the chimney pieces didn't align perfectly flush, leaving a tiny but noticeable gap that drove my perfectionist tendencies crazy. It just lacked that rock-solid, vibration-free feel you expect from a permanent fixture hanging right over your head. Performance-wise, the 3-speed fan promises a lot, but delivers a somewhat underwhelming experience when pushed to the limit. I tested it during a high-heat wok frying session, and while it managed the steam from boiling pasta just fine, it struggled to capture the heavier grease and smoke from searing pork belly. Even worse, switching to the highest speed introduced a distracting rattle in the glass canopy, and the motor noise was loud enough that holding a normal conversation across the island became impossible. The aluminum mesh filters are standard and do an okay job trapping surface grease, but I found them difficult to snap perfectly back into place after running them through the dishwasher. 6. FIREGAS 30-inch Island Range Hood. Out of the box, the flat tempered glass design paired with the brushed stainless steel body gives off a very minimalist, contemporary vibe that I instantly appreciated. The assembly process felt slightly more straightforward than the AKDY, and the overall weight distribution made hoisting it into place a 2-person job rather than a 3-person ordeal. The LED lights are bright, easily covering the entire 4-burner cooking surface below. But my initial appreciation started to wane once I put the FIREGAS through some rigorous culinary tests. The manufacturer claims robust suction, but the reality of the airflow left a lot to be desired during heavy pan frying. I noticed that steam rolling off the front burners would frequently escape the capture area, curling around the flat glass edges instead of being drawn up into the vents. It felt as though the motor simply lacked the raw pulling power required to overcome cross drafts in a spacious, open-concept kitchen. Then there is the issue with the permanent stainless steel baffle filters. On paper, baffle filters are superior to mesh, but the ones included with the FIREGAS felt surprisingly lightweight and prone to bending if you aren't incredibly gentle while cleaning them. Furthermore, the push-button controls feel distinctly cheap. They lack a satisfying click and sometimes require a second, firmer press to register the command. It's a small detail, but when your hands are covered in flour or oil, unresponsive buttons become a massive annoyance. Noise is another factor where the FIREGAS struggles to impress. On the lowest setting, it produces a noticeable drone, and by the time you reach the maximum speed, the pitch becomes highly irritating, reminiscent of a cheap bathroom exhaust fan. 5. Tieasy 30-inch Island Range Hood. Unboxing the Tieasy, the first thing I noticed was the reassuring thickness of the stainless steel chimney and main body. It doesn't have the glass canopy found on the previous models, which honestly I prefer, as it means less daily wiping to remove unsightly grease splatters and fingerprints. The solid, all-metal construction lends it a commercial kitchen aesthetic that commands attention. I put the Tieasy to the test with a heavily spiced blackened salmon recipe, a dish notorious for producing blinding smoke and lingering odors. I was genuinely impressed by how aggressively the 700 CFM motor tackled the job. The 3-speed exhaust fan created a distinct updraft that corralled the smoke effectively, ensuring my living room didn't smell like a seafood restaurant for the next 3 days. The transition between fan speeds is smooth, and while it isn't completely silent on high, the noise is a deeper, less intrusive hum rather than a high-pitched whine. Maintenance on the Tieasy proved to be a breath of fresh air compared to lower-tier models. The stainless steel baffle filters are heavy-duty, featuring deep grooves that effectively trap grease before it can reach the motor. I tossed them into the bottom rack of my dishwasher, and they came out looking brand new without any warping or discoloration. The LCD display and touch controls are highly responsive, and the built-in timer function turned out to be incredibly useful for letting the hood run for a few minutes after cooking to clear residual odors before automatically shutting off. Another aspect I thoroughly enjoyed while evaluating this hood was its versatility. It handles both duct and ductless installations gracefully, and the convertible system doesn't severely throttle the suction power when using the charcoal filters, which is a common issue with mid-range hoods. 4. CIARRA Smart Island Cooker Hood. If you're building a smart home ecosystem, this is the range hood that will instantly catch your eye. The modern, ultra-slim profile is visually stunning, hanging from the ceiling via adjustable steel cables rather than a traditional bulky metal chimney. This floating design completely transformed the spatial dynamics of my test kitchen, making the room feel larger, more open, and undeniably futuristic. It's a conversation starter before you even turn it on. What truly sets the CIARRA apart during my testing was the integration of smart technology. Connecting it to my home Wi-Fi and the companion app was completely painless. I found myself absolutely loving the ability to adjust the fan speed, toggle the lights, or set a delayed shut-off timer right from my smartphone while sitting at the dining table. It even supports voice commands through Alexa and Google Assistant, meaning I could turn the hood on high when my hands were covered in raw chicken juice, completely avoiding cross-contamination on the control panel. Despite its slim, floating design, the CIARRA does not compromise heavily on performance. It is primarily designed as a recirculation hood, and I was initially skeptical about its ability to handle intense cooking without a duct venting outside. However, the multi-layer filtration system, combined with high-quality carbon filters, aggressively stripped odors and grease from the air. While I wouldn't recommend it for daily indoor grilling, it easily managed the steam, smoke, and smell from standard daily dinners, boiling, and moderate pan frying. The LED lighting on this unit deserves its own special mention. It features a continuous dual-ring LED light that provides incredibly bright, even, and shadow-free illumination across the entire cooking surface. 3. Cosmo 30-inch Ducted Island Range Hood. Cosmo has built a strong reputation for bringing professional-grade appliances to the residential market, and this unit exemplifies that philosophy. The brushed stainless steel finish is immaculate, resisting fingerprints and blending seamlessly with other high-end kitchen appliances. The tempered glass visor adds a touch of elegance, but it's the sheer build quality that impressed me the moment I took it out of the packaging. During my extensive testing, the Cosmo 30-inch proved to be an absolute workhorse. It features a powerful 380 CFM motor that punches well above its weight class. I decided to challenge it with a large batch of fried chicken, a process that typically blankets my kitchen in aerosolized oil and heavy smoke. The Cosmo aggressively channeled the fumes upward, capturing the grease efficiently before it could settle on my countertops or cabinets. The airflow dynamics are engineered brilliantly, creating a cone of suction that rarely lets stray smoke escape. The ArcFlow permanent stainless steel baffle filters are a massive highlight here. They are thick, durable, and designed to force air through sharp turns, separating grease from the smoke with high efficiency. Removing them using the quick-release latches is smooth, and they fit perfectly into a standard dishwasher cycle. Furthermore, Cosmo has managed to balance power with acoustic comfort. Even on the highest of the 3 fan speeds, the noise level maxes out around 65 decibels, which is low enough to allow you to listen to music or chat with guests without shouting over the fan. The control scheme features a highly responsive soft touch panel with a brilliantly clear digital display. The built-in clock and timer add a layer of convenience to your cooking routine, while the energy-efficient LED lights brilliantly illuminate the workspace below. 2. Cosmo 36-inch Ducted Island Range Hood. If you have a larger island or a 36-inch professional gas range, sizing up to this model is absolutely essential. The moment this hood was suspended in my test space, it became the architectural centerpiece of the room. It boasts the same premium brushed stainless steel construction and elegant glass visor as the 30-inch version, but the expanded capture area provides a massive upgrade in functional performance for serious home chefs. I tested this 36-inch behemoth during a complex weekend meal prep involving all 5 burners on my cooktop simultaneously. We had a stock pot boiling on one side, bacon sizzling on the other, and a delicate sauce simmering in the middle. The widened canopy of the Cosmo 36-inch captured the rising plumes of steam and smoke from the extreme edges of the cooktop flawlessly. With a narrower hood, edge burners often vent smoke past the suction zone, but this model created an impenetrable vacuum above the entire cooking surface. Under the hood, the heavy-duty motor operates with an incredibly smooth, balanced rotation that translates to zero structural vibration, even when blasting air at maximum capacity. The larger surface area accommodates more of those fantastic arc flow permanent baffle filters, meaning it can trap a significantly higher volume of grease during heavy cooking sessions. Despite the wider body and increased air intake, I was amazed that the noise levels remained just as controlled and unobtrusive as the smaller model. It hums with the confidence of a commercial appliance. Lighting is another area where the 36-inch model shines, literally. The evenly spaced LEDs cast a wide, overlapping pool of bright, neutral light that makes judging the sear on a steak or the color of a caramel sauce effortless. 1. ZLINE Kitchen and Bath. When unboxing the ZLINE, you immediately understand where your money went. The grade of the stainless steel, the flawless hand-finished seams, and the sheer robust weight of the components scream uncompromising luxury and professional-grade durability. It possesses a classic, timeless architectural design that elevates the entire kitchen, making it look like a feature straight out of a high-end architectural digest magazine. Performance-wise, the ZLINE is in a league of its own. It is equipped with a phenomenally powerful motor that offers 4 distinct speed settings, providing unmatched control over your kitchen's environment. I pushed this hood to its absolute limit, heavily searing multiple steaks on cast iron skillets directly beneath it. The ZLINE didn't just capture the smoke, it violently evacuated it. The updraft was so powerful and instantaneous that not a single wisp of smoke or hint of grease escaped into the surrounding living area. It was genuinely breathtaking to witness. What truly solidifies the ZLINE as the undisputed champion is its acoustic engineering. Despite housing an absolute monster of a motor, it is remarkably quiet. On the lowest settings, it is virtually silent, and even on the maximum extraction speed, the sound is a deeply insulated, smooth whoosh of air rather than mechanical motor strain. The stainless steel baffle filters are incredibly thick, commercial-grade components that slide out effortlessly for dishwasher cleaning. The craftsmanship is so precise that there are no rattling parts or loose tolerances anywhere in the assembly. The directional LED lighting is perfectly calibrated, illuminating the stovetop with brilliant clarity while remaining energy efficient. The control panel is robust, featuring satisfying push buttons that will clearly last a lifetime of heavy use, entirely avoiding the finicky nature of some digital touchscreens.